Okay, well, let's continue this conversation
Let's do
because
it.
there's a lot you want to say, but I feel like I'm gonna have to pitch in because there's some
Please
things
do.
that we did say just now that will be quite cute if we put it on here. But yeah, part two of family on Tarek Talks, back with Lo. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Tell
So,
me stories.
have you cut off anyone in your family?
No. Oh, so my extended family, I feel like I have kind of cut off. So my family in Jerusalem.
Yep.
So there was a time, the last time I went there was in 2014. And before then, on social media and stuff, you can see like, what I do and like how I started wearing heels and dancing heels, and the way I expressed myself was different. And it's not accepted. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like looked down on or whatever. And there was a time where they would call my dad or my mum and be like, "What's Tarek doing?" Like blah blah. And there was this whole like discussion, but not to me. And I would always get a phone call from my dad while I was at work, and he was telling me this and that and the other. And I said, well, if they have a problem with it, they can call me.
Yeah.
Or, just say to them, you talk to Tarek, like, I'm here. They've got your number. So if they want to talk, call and ask for me.
And you're
We
a grown
can
ass man at this time.
grow.
Listen, so
Exactly. Yeah,
why are you
yeah,
going to
yeah.
your parents for? Like,
This is what I mean. And it always, and I always tell them, I was like, because it all comes from like showing face, right? Like showing that we are great, like it's a good family, we're bond.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
it's always about that. It's
Yeah.
never the realness.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what's annoying
So it's
about
putting on
it.
appearances for.
Putting on
Yeah.
appearances. And I always say that to them. I say like their family is not the best either, but it's coming across as it is.
Yeah. But no one
But
can
you
see
don't
what's
know.
going on behind the
Don't
closed
see what's
doors.
going on.
Right.
So the last time we went as a family was in 2014, and that trip like changed a lot for me because I would go into a room and I'd be like, "Hey," and no one would respond to me. There would be no conversation. I would sit next to someone, and it's not all
Oh.
my family. It's just a big group of them,
Yes.
and it was more on my mum's side rather than my dad's.
Okay.
And except for one aunt on my mum's side who still to this day will talk, and she's always asking when am I coming back. And I said to her like, it's very hard for me to come back.
Yes.
And I said, I know you know why.
Yeah.
And she does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a conversation we'll never really have. But it's known about. And she always says, like, no, that's not the case. Like, we want you here. Like, please come. And I said, if I do come, I'll only come and see you. But I don't think that's right. And she did say, like, if you want to do that, you can. But in my mind, because it's a small village, we all know each other. So it's the fact that if I did go to my aunt, someone will see me, then
Yeah.
they will circle.
And?
Then, well, no, exactly.
But what I mean, yeah, go on.
But also, it's just, for me, I don't feel right about it. But then they would then call my mum and be like, oh, so Tarek comes and doesn't see us. And then I would be like, well, do you even want to see
Exactly,
me?
they're not
Do you
even
know what I mean?
embracing you. They're not even accepting you. Do you know what I mean? For who you are.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, but you didn't come and see us. But which way do you want it? You want to cuss me and say all this stuff about me
Yeah.
or whatever, and then when you don't visit them because
Yeah.
they're rejecting you,
Yeah.
then you're meant to go and like beg to their door or something.
Right. The thing is, I think they want an excuse to be like, this is the reason why we don't. Do you know what I mean? And I, number one, don't want to give them that excuse. And number
Yeah.
two, that just shows you I've never given you an excuse to feel a certain way about me. You've just
Yeah.
decided that we're going to cut ties in a certain way. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that's why for me, I was just a bit like, do you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
And it got, so back in that time, it was, a scenario happened where, do you know when you get pins and needles in your feet?
Yeah.
And I couldn't feel my foot. I was like, oh, okay, let me get up and start walking around, get the blood circulating, right? It was not, my foot was numb for a good half an hour.
Yeah.
And I'll be walking around the house, nothing's changing. And my mum was like, are you okay? Like, is it, good? And I was like, no, it's not. She was like, keep walking. It's me. I've been walking for half an hour. I can't feel my foot. And then at that time, I just felt like someone put like an X on me.
Oh.
And I just felt like someone did
Oh.
like said something and it just happened. That's how I felt because we went to the doctors over there. No signs of nothing on the x-ray. And I just had this numb foot for like over an hour. And it like it went away like after 2 hours or whatever. And I just thought
Yeah.
that was so weird. And no one was helping me. People were like my uncles and aunts were laughing. And I just said to my brother, the one that I live with, I said, I just want to go home. And I was like, oh, like, okay. So we left and I was just bawling my eyes out because I was like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Because all my life I've respected them. I've changed the way I've dressed when I was there to show
Yeah.
respect and always just appreciation, because we grew up knowing you respect your elders.
Definitely.
You, in someone's household, you live by their rules. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah,
course.
cool. But at that moment, I realized that it wasn't reciprocated. So
Yeah.
I was like, that's it.
So if you did go to visit your aunt then, and well, they can make up any excuse, can't they? They didn't speak to you last time you were there. You know, you went and tried to make an effort and say hi to them. And
Yeah.
so what?
Well, they could, but they can say whatever they want. But
Yeah.
I just don't want to give that gaslight. I don't want to give them a reason.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I think it's more personal. It's more personal for
Okay.
me. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's not right.
Yes.
It's not cool. Like, I've traveled all this way.
Yeah.
Like, for me not to go and say hello and just go see my aunt. Like, it's just.
Because you still got that respect there.
Oh my
Obviously
gosh,
you still got the
totally.
deep respect, even though they're
Yeah.
being not nice.
Yeah, no. And I tell my mum, this me, don't speak my name to them. Don't say anything. If they ever ask, which they don't.
Yeah.
It's like, if they ever ask, just say he's fine.
Yeah.
Because for me, I don't want any, like, any kind of energy towards me for them to kind of like stir.
Rub onto, yeah.
Yeah, and I did tell my mum, and I said, as much as you don't say it or are aware, I was like, no matter what I've done, there's always been a situation. Like childcare, a guy doesn't do that. Dance, guy doesn't do that. I was like, no matter what I've achieved, there's never been a well done.
Yeah.
So I don't have time for it.
No, you don't, and
Do you
good
know
for
what I mean?
you. Good. Don't have time for that. Why should you? But how does that make you feel? Like, are
Back
you okay with
then,
it now?
I think, do you know what? I want to say that I am, but I feel like maybe there is still a bit of hurt there that I don't
Yes.
know about. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
But I am better with it. And I think because I've had that realization, it allowed me to sit with it more. It's just what it is. Like, my dad would always say, like, why don't you go? Why don't you go? And I always tell my dad, this me, you know why. And he always says, like, bless my dad, he always has my corner.
Oh, that's
no
so
matter
lovely.
what. And I appreciate him so
yeah.
much. And he said, don't care about them. Like, you go because you want to go and you visit family. And I was like, but why would I put myself in a situation where I'm going to feel not wanted?
Absolutely.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But also I won't be allowed in the country right now. So
Why?
anyway, yeah, but how about you?
So yeah, going with the family thing. I had an aunt, my mum's sister. I had an aunt. She's still alive. She's still alive. I was so close to her, really, really close to her, and she just done me dirty, man. She done me really dirty. And then I haven't spoke to her for 6 years. Do you remember when? Did you ever watch that Big Brother when David Bowie died, and then everyone thought that it was the David in the house that died? Anyway, there was a celebrity Big Brother that was going on, and David Bowie's ex-wife, not Iman, the very one before Iman, she was on there, and she got news that David Bowie had passed away. Yeah. Anyway, my aunt knew this woman in a past life or whatever. She knew her, and she used to say, she said that David Bowie wasn't very nice, but she had one of those gag order things that she wasn't allowed to talk about it.
Okay.
Whatever. So she went and put something on Facebook about how David Bowie wasn't this, and I was like, this and that, and I was like, well, he's dead now. Like, the man, this never came out now. Why is it coming out now? Basically, it wasn't a rude, it was just my little opinion. Yeah. And she blocked me on Facebook, and then I thought, oh, okay. I didn't realise at first, and then I messaged her privately. I said on Messenger, and I said, "Oh, did you block me?" And she went, "Yeah." I said, "What? Why did you do that?" She goes, "Is it because of what I said?" It's like, this is a platform for people to have conversations on. It wasn't. I wasn't bad mouthing anyone. I was just like, "Oh, you know, whatever." And that's not a really good explanation. Whatever. But, you know, it is, just cutting a long story short. Yeah. And so she went to reply to me. So I thought, I cancelled her. All right. And then it's not even that deep here, but I cancelled her. She was so angry. So first of all, she blocked me first. Bear in mind, this is on Messenger now, but instead of like taking it on the chin, knowing that she did exactly the same thing to me, didn't let me have a voice, basically. So instead of messaging me on my mobile phone or like text message or WhatsApp, she went to Facebook and posted a rant about me, about I'm this, I'm that, and blah, 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 blah. And I didn't know about it, so I was fine not knowing about it. And then one of my cousins went, "Did you see what blah blah said about
you,
you.
yeah.
I was like, what? And then I thought, like, you little shit stirrer, why
That's
did you
it.
even flipping tell me anyway?
Yeah.
Do you know, I was living my life not
Yeah.
knowing I was fine.
Yeah.
So then I looked at the messages and they were really horrible messages. So then I started saying, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this on a public platform? Like,
Right.
it wasn't even like only friends can see. She made the whole thing
Public.
public for the whole world to see, yeah?
Right.
And then she said, she was just saying about this, that and the other. And then when she didn't really have anything to say, like, this is someone that one of my closest extended family, to turn on you like that, just turn. But it was done in such a way that it was like, you didn't need to do that. You could have, if you had a problem with me, say it or ring me.
Right.
So I tried to call her and she wouldn't answer the phone and stuff like that. I said, why are you behaving like a child? Anyway, tutus,
oh my gosh, I haven't heard someone say tutus in years.
I just started saying it recently again.
Oh,
I like
okay.
it. Yeah. So
tutus.
Yeah, tutus. She so then I replied on Facebook. I said, why are you behaving like this? So I replied back publicly, you're not gonna do that to me.
Of course.
And then after she looked silly, because this is like a big 50-year-old odd woman at the time, 56 or whatever at the time, and then instead of coming back with what she wanted to say, she just wanted support from people to go, yeah, your niece is out of order, blah blah blah. So then I said, and then she started calling me names on, like, you're just a little effing dwarf, you're just a little midget and stuff.
You're going back and forth on Facebook.
So then I wasn't cussing her like that though, yeah. I was just calling her out on her silly behaviour, but she didn't have nothing to come back with me on, yeah. So you go to insult me. That's the level of your intelligence, that you want to insult me because you have nothing to say. You've just made a mug of yourself. Anyway, so then my mum, no one really wanted to get involved, and I felt like no one really had my back, and I had nothing. I don't feel like I was at fault. Do you know what I mean? Like, she brought it public, and my brother, the one that I don't speak to now, was like, yeah, it's family, just leave it. I said, why are you telling this to me? Go to her and say, she's the one slating me on Facebook.
And started this whole thing.
Yeah. And then so after that, I thought, I was so hurt. I thought, right, that's it. You know what? I'll only ever speak to her again if she apologises for that, because it was so unnecessary. But you took it to the whole world to see, when it could have been, I'm one of your closest people, like. And anyway, so that really cut me deep. And I thought, after that, I'm not going to let anyone put me in a situation like that or humiliate me or embarrass me like that. I'm just going to, like, family or not, like, I don't care if you're my family. That was the first cut off. And then after, a couple of years later, me and my brother fell out, and I'm like, that was different because I tried to patch it up with him, and it wasn't, he didn't put it to Facebook like that anyway. But I just noticed now that I just haven't got time. I've said this before in the first one. I can't keep putting myself there.
No.
When people are treating you like that, and if they didn't respect the relationship, if they're your close people and they treating you like that, they didn't respect you in the first place. So then that's it. I don't have time for that. Yeah.
What I do is I look back at the situation and I think to myself, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? If I didn't, then I'm like,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I think she just took it too far. If it was an argument that was a bit private and then we said words to each other, then I could patch it up. But it was just,
do you know what would have been so funny is that if you did a post or whatever and be like, oh, I can't speak to my auntie, blah, 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 because I've just put a gag order on her. Because it's the whole.
I should have done that.
That would be so funny.
She was acting so hurt, like it was something that happened to her. But this
exactly,
like it wasn't even. It's like someone that you know. It's not even a good friend of yours, and you're acting like you're personally hurt by the situation. Stop it.
Taking it deep, innit?
It's too far. Ridiculous.
I wonder if she went to the David Bowie like picture thing in Brixton.
Oh, fuck knows. I don't know.
And wrote a comment being like, I know what you did.
I know what you did. Yeah. I don't know. Silly woman. Anyway, stupid woman, man. Anyway, so I didn't come in here to cuss her anyway. I just
However,
when you just bring it up, all the emotions come up. I'm like, yeah.
This has now become the shade room.
Yes. Yeah.
I live for it.
Yeah.
But that's what happens, that with family, we do have conflicts. It's just, how do you deal with it? And does it continue or does it not? But most of the times you end up not speaking to your family for 5 years or it just cuts off completely. And it is what it is. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
You just go with the flow and allow it and move on with life, because if there's no mutual respect, mutual love, then what's the point? Do you know what I'm saying? But I will be at your funeral to show respect. Do you know what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah.
Because it's just one of those things. Like, we're not always going to be at the same place with our heads and our minds, but we'll clash, and that's fine.
Exactly. And you don't have to always agree with the choices that we make and
Of course,
stuff.
yeah,
But just
yeah.
as long as there's respect. I
Yeah.
mean, do we have to wrap up now or have we got time?
No, we've got time.
Sorry, you can cut this out. But it's just that
We've got to keep it in.
with the you know, not always accepting, you know, because my mum is a bit judgmental of how I raise my kids and stuff, and because I do dance and stuff, it's like, you're not spending enough time with your kids. I'm like, okay, just because your definition of a mum is different to what my definition of a mum is, doesn't mean like I'm doing anything wrong.
Right.
Like, I am allowed to be something other than someone's mother.
Yeah.
I'm still Lois, and I'm still doing what I love to do, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, she goes, I just don't want you to make the same mistakes as that I made. I said, well, I can't, because I'm not you, but your mistakes are your mistakes, and the mistakes that I make, I've got to make them. If I make them, I'll learn from them. Do you know? Everyone's got to go their own way, but just because I'm doing things differently, like I don't go along with the idea or subscribe to that idea that you've got to be a stay-at-home mum, go home, go to work, come home, cook, clean. Like, what about you as a person? And there was a lot of her and my sister my mum and my sister were like a bit judgmental about, you know, not, why am I not at home? Obviously, I'm at home, but it's like a couple of times a week I might be going to a dance class.
Of
but
course.
why should I feel bad about doing something for me?
Yeah.
And that made me feel really shitty at some
And
point.
you're
Really
supposed to
upset
do
me.
something for you. Like, you can't 24/7 be the mum at home. Do you know what I mean? And I think it also plays a big factor for your kids too, to see that you are doing other stuff.
Exactly.
And that they can have ambition, they can have hobbies. It works both, do you know what I mean? It works both ways.
Yeah.
It all comes down to like just old school thinking as well.
Yeah, but just don't be judgmental. If
Don't
that's
be
not the way
judgmental,
you're
yeah.
doing it, cool, just accept this is the
Yeah.
way I'm doing it. But doesn't mean I'm neglecting my children in any way, because it's
Right.
like sometimes they have opinions, but you might be my mum, but you don't see the day-to-day things that I do.
Of course, yeah.
You know, you might, all that you know is what I'm telling you. You can just assume the other stuff because you're not living my life every
That's
day.
it,
You
yeah.
don't hardly come to my house and stuff.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, but you're going to talk to me about how I'm going out dancing and that maybe I should stay in a bit more, like as if she didn't go out, like things like that.
Right, yeah.
But now she's not as bad anymore.
Yes. So you
But
got a good relationship with your mum?
Yeah, quite a good relationship. I mean, obviously, like, she had to leave and stuff like that when we were younger because her and my dad just weren't good together.
Yeah.
And then we lived with my dad, like I said before, and then we moved in with her when I was 14. But yeah, the relationship's much better now, and I think you have to put certain like boundaries and, you know, spaces between you to say, look, okay, that's your opinion, but like, let me do me. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah, just be respectful of
That's
people's
it.
choices. Definitely.
Respectful, kind, caring, which is all things of family. I think just to wrap up this family conversation, we should end it with a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Whoa! You look cute for doing it. I've probably got foundation on the top now.
That's all right.
Well, thank you so much for unraveling your stories with me. I think it's nice. I love it too.
It's
and I appreciate
therapeutic.
it. It is.
Yeah.
It is therapeutic. I'm going to open my own psychology. No, it's therapy, isn't it? Psychology is different.
Same thing.
Oh, is it the same
Yeah.
thing? Oh, okay, cool. But yeah. Until
Tarek.
next time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me on Tarek Talks. And we'll discuss later another topic.
We will do.
So watch this space. Bye, team.